Yes, I need perimeter surveillance at all exits. A couple of groups of agents in vests who pretend to leave here guarding someone and a young undercover man, at least 6'1" tall, who can pass for a university student. Buy 2 tickets for a movie show. I'll see you there in 30 minutes and I'll take you to your date. Alejandro, who was putting on his white 1-inch heeled sneakers, looked at her trying to understand. Witness protection turned him into a woman. Part 2. Alejandro, who was putting on his white 1-inch heeled sneakers, looked at her trying to understand. I'll explain to you in a moment. Did the shoes fit you? I calculated a women's 8.5 and chose a low heel to make things easier for you. Yes, fine, thanks. Good. We have little time for the final touches. From her bag, Agent Castello takes out a small cosmetic bag and nimbly applies some makeup and blush to Alejandro's face. Look up and don't move. She told him to apply a thin line of eyeliner, then, a couple of brushes of black mascara and a pink lipstick. At the end, she pulls out a wig of dark brown, slightly wavy hair that falls slightly below his shoulders. Here. Put those away and take good care of them. They are my cosmetics and I want them back as soon as you get to the safe house. If necessary, apply a little more lipstick before going out. She pulls him to his feet and watches him. Very good. Not even your mother would recognize you. Let's go see you. They leave the cubicle and Alejandro looks at himself for the first time in the dressing room mirrors. He can't believe it. In the mirror is not the usual problematic and gangly boy. In his place is a beautiful girl. Do you like it? Alexander nodded. It's you. Yvonne told him as she closed Alejandro's mouth. I told you that not even your mother would recognize you. Alejandro nervous, he kept seeing the girl in the mirror. If you were to go out with me, it's easier for us to be identified. Instead, I'm going to go out with another agent wearing your clothes through a door at the same time that 2 groups of agents come out pretending to escort you through other doors. Meanwhile, you're going to be at the movies with Agent MacLeod, and you're going to go out in the middle of the crowd like any couple. Alejandro just nodded his head, trying to understand everything. You, calm down. Don't try to walk like a girl or anything, you'd just draw more attention. Try not to talk too much and let MacLeod guide you. They left the dressing rooms and walked towards the movie theaters. Alejandro, fully aware of how he was dressed, felt embarrassed and ridiculous. His first steps were terrible. Hunched over, with bowed head and erratic movements. They hadn't passed the first hallway when Yvonne stopped him. Do you want to get killed? No. Then stop acting like a fool. Straighten up and walk normally, as a human being. Can you do that? Yes, I will try. Don't try, do it. They kept walking. Alejandro improved his first steps, but he kept looking down every time he passed near someone. Yvonne constantly corrected him. Do not lower your face, straighten your back, tuck your belly in, take smaller steps and put one foot in front of the other. In that short journey, Alejandro became aware of many things: the feeling of the skirt and the air on his legs, the shoes, the sensation of his bare shoulders, and the straps of the bra and top he was wearing. When I introduce you to Special Agent MacLeod, don't forget for a moment that you have to act like a girl your age with his date. Alejandro stopped listening to her when, passing by a store, he saw his reflection in the sideboard mirrors. He had to look at Yvonne to make sure it was him. He was very surprised to realize that they really looked like a couple of girlfriends walking. That made him feel much more secure and even a strange satisfaction for looking so pretty. They got to the theater and there was Agent MacLeod. Tall, young, about 25 years old, maybe less. Thin but with perfectly defined muscles, blue eyes and short hair. Wow. If I was really a girl, I couldn't complain about my date. Alejandro thought to himself jokingly. Later, he corrected himself so as not to feel bad with his thought. I mean, he's the kind of guy that any girl would like. He's how I would have liked to be. Ivan interrupted his train of thought. Ron, she is. Vanessa, take good care of her, see you soon. Ron shook Alejandro's hand in greeting, and pulled him up to kiss him on the cheek like he would with any girl. Alejandro, totally surprised, couldn't help but smile like a shy teenage girl, as if it were something normal. Ivan left and Alejandro stayed there totally terrified without knowing what to do. I already have the tickets, do you want some popcorn? Alejandro looked nervous. He just nodded his head. Ron took him by the hand and while they waited their turn, he leaned close to his ear and said, "Don't worry, you look really good. No one would imagine. Smile and play along, try to act like any girl would for a moment." Alejandro smiled trying to follow the instructions. Ron received everything he had asked for on a tray that he carried in his left hand and wrapped his right arm around Alex's waist to walk towards the movie theater. Did I already tell you that today you look prettier than ever? Alejandro blushed, not really understanding why he felt flattered by the comment and strangely okay with Ron's arm around his waist. For some reason, walking like this, embraced by him, gives him a sense of safeness, like when he was a boy and he was with his dad. The movie passed uneventfully and except for the cold on his shoulders, Alex could almost forget about his situation. Finally, the lights came on and Ron's hand helping him to his feet reminded him to be a girl. Agent MacLeod had already received a message informing which door they should exit to find the car that would take them to the safe house. They walked hand in hand through the semi-empty aisles of the mall and when they got closer to the door, Ron put his hand behind Alex's waist again. At the same time he quietly told her to put her head on his shoulder. Alex nervously followed the instruction and they were out in the parking lot. Other families and couples that had left the theater were there getting into their cars, so they had to wait a couple of minutes that felt like hours in front of the door until an SUV pulled up in front of them. Ron chivalrously opened the door and helped him in, then walked around the vehicle to enter the other door. Alex couldn't help but be flattered by the attention and she wasn't worried. Soon they would arrive at the safe house and all this madness of dressing up as a woman would end forever. There were no shots or mishaps along the way. They arrived at an apartment building, obviously for students, close to a university and a high school. When they parked, Ron told Alex not to get out yet. He got out himself, discreetly looked around and walked around the vehicle to open the door for Alex. He offered his hand to help him down and in a low voice said, "Come down, super feminine, don't look anywhere, just look at me." Alejandro suddenly became aware of being fully dressed as a girl, with a skirt, top, makeup and long hair. Flustered, he locked eyes with Ron, gave him the hand in the most feminine way he could, and allowed himself to be helped out of the SUV. It was a small studio, but with everything necessary for a student. "You are going to stay here until the trial. There are a couple of undercover officers in one of the apartments across the street who are going to be looking after you all the time," Ron said. Alejandro went through the apartment quickly, opened the closet that was empty. Before he could say anything, Ron continued. "Don't worry, Agent Castello will arrive later with your clothes and if you need anything else, she will take you to buy what you need. In any case, you are going to have a weekly budget that should be enough for your expenses. It is best that you stay in the area all the time to facilitate your protection." Ron took one last look out the window and went outside. "I have to go. Castello shouldn't be long." He went away. Alejandro entered the room and found a full-length mirror behind the door. He still couldn't believe that the girl in the mirror was him. He thought that at least, now in the apartment, he could be himself again. He felt a little ridiculous, but he couldn't deny that she looked good. Even if he was a girl he would definitely like to date. He wanted to change his clothes and forget about this crazy of pretending to be a girl, but he didn't have any clothes to wear, so he decided to stay like that and try to relax while he waited. It wasn't a long wait. For the first time in months he felt calm that he was doing the right thing and at least momentarily, he felt safe. Ivan arrived with a couple of small suitcases. Alejandro immediately took the suitcases and opened the first one. What is this? Your clothes. But if there are only women's clothes. Yes, those are your clothes, so get used to it. But if I'm locked up here and nobody knows where I am, what is the point of continuing in disguise? You didn't understand, did you? Among the people we arrested with the information you gave us are 2 of the 10 most wanted by the FBI, and with your testimony, we can involve and try even the sons of the president of your country. This is really big and I'm not going to lose it just because you can't wear a skirt for a couple of months. 2 months dressed as a girl? Are you crazy? What for? If no one is going to see me in here. At least 2 months before the trial begins. And no. You can't stay locked up. You have to eat. Besides, it's a student department. It would be obvious that you're hiding something if you didn't come out. And no one can bring me food? Yes, of course. We can also wash your clothes if you want. Alejandro understood the irony. You do know that there are dealers who are going to be asking for you, and how long do you think it will take them to find the apartment from which no one leaves? Alejandro knew that everything was true. This is only for the first few days, so you can go to the grocery store or for a coffee. These days I'm going to take you for everything you need, so pay attention. Alexander just nodded. At least from now until the end of the trial, you will live all the time as Vanessa. It is a safe identity for a girl your age who is going to study here her last year of high school. You're only going to dress as Alejandro to go testify. If they find you, they kill you and we lose the case, so you have to learn to behave like a girl your age if you want to live. I do not know if I can. How am I going to learn that? Don't worry, it's not that difficult, thank God. Your development has been slow, you have the ideal weight and height, your voice hasn't finished changing either, and your features. Yes, I know. Don't mock. I'm not mocking, I take advantage of what we have, to achieve the goal, that makes a good agent. I'm just worried that your body will start changing before the end of the trial. I can't control that, but if it's only a couple of months, I wouldn't worry so much. It's a couple of months for the trials to start, but they can last longer. We can't risk that your voice changes or you start to grow. Well, there are many very tall girls, right? I don't know, we'll worry about that later. For now, you need to familiarize yourself with everything I brought you. In the first suitcase, there were 3 skirts, a couple of sundresses, a couple of leggings, and several various tops. All very girly. They took all out and put it on the bed. There aren't even any jeans? I get that I have to dress up as a girl, but I can't even wear jeans? No. At least until you learn and get used to behaving like a girl, your clothes have to make up for what you lack in femininity. In the other suitcase there were clearly feminine tennis shoes, sandals and 2-inch heels, sets of panties and bras in different styles, 2 boxes with breast forms, a pair of gaffs, a cosmetic bag, some magazines and a pink nightgown. Alejandro, seeing the nightgown, asks, "Really? I can't even sleep like a man?" "No. We need the curtains open every night so that no one imagines that there is something hidden. If you get up to the kitchen or bathroom, what anyone can see is a girl living in this apartment. Is that clear?" Alejandro lowers his head defeated. "Hey, it's not a tragedy. If you have to dress as a girl for a few months in exchange for staying alive, I don't think that's too high a price to pay. Or is it? No, I guess it won't be that bad. Plus you'll have everything any girl your age could wish for, a good school, a student apartment surrounded by other boys and girls your age, new clothes, money and even beauty. Because if you haven't noticed, you are much more attractive as a woman than as a man. So instead of complaining, you should try to enjoy the opportunity that the government is giving you to have a new life." Alejandro couldn't help feeling flattered and even proud with the comment about his beauty, but he didn't dare show it. "When the trial is over, can I be me again? All the time you will be you. Just living as a girl. Okay, but. Yes, when the trial is over we will see what options there are. For the moment, we need you to adapt to your new personality as soon as possible, because if you don't succeed, we won't even make it to the trial. Alright. I don't know if I can enjoy it. Yes, you can. At least I'm sure you can enjoy a normal student life, with new friends and no more problems than the natural ones at your age. If you can't enjoy living as a woman, at least enjoy living on a government budget, or acting. Without a doubt, you can find satisfaction in doing things so well that no one can imagine the reality. Alejandro thinks about it for a moment. That can be interesting. If I have to do it anyway, at least I'm going to do it right. Ivan smiles for the first time. That's the attitude. That's all for today. If you like this story, check the channel for more, like and subscribe.